What's up everyone, Lethal here. I just want to make a quick little video in response to a video that a friend of mine shared with me. And it's something I've seen come up a lot. A lot of people, when they're pulled over in a traffic stop and the officer orders them to get out, the suspect will often say, I know my rights, I don't have to get out of the vehicle. And they'll just keep repeating that and same BS about how they know their rights. Well, if they had actually known law and known their rights, they would know that there was actually a court case on that. The Supreme Court case of Pennsylvania versus Mimms. Penn V. Mimms was a United States Supreme Court ruling. Happened a couple years ago. And the result of that ruling was, if during a traffic stop, a police officer may at any point in time order you out of that vehicle. And once he or she does, you are legally required to leave that vehicle. If at any point during a traffic stop an officer tells you you need to get out of the car, you are legally required to get out of that car. Failure to comply with that lawful order is a misdemeanor charge under obstruction of justice. If you do not get out of the car, you can and will go to jail. So if you say you know your rights and continue to remain in the car, you're an idiot. You don't know anything. You don't know what you're talking about. You are legally required to exit your vehicle if an officer tells you to. That is federal and state law in all 50 states. After Penn v. Mimms was issued, states corrected their laws to reflect it. It is state law in all 50 states that you are required to exit your vehicle at any point in time when ordered to do so by a police officer. So, for all you wondering, that's the actual law. And if you don't believe me, you can go look it up yourselves. Penn v. Mimms. If you're going to claim to know your rights and know your laws, you should probably do some actual research on them. And I'm talking about actual state law from the state police department or the state website. Each state has their own website, and usually they'll have a section that's all about all the laws for that state. The federal government also has it. So if you want to say you know your rights, you should probably do some research and actually know your rights. Otherwise, you're going to look like a fool. Most people don't know their rights and they don't know state law. Especially these idiots who say, oh, I know my rights, I don't have to give this to you, or I don't have to do that. 9 times out of 10, they're wrong. When an officer asks you for a valid form of identification, you are required by state law in all states to provide a valid form of identification. Failure to do so is obstruction of justice, which is a misdemeanor in all 50 states. If a cop asks you for ID, you are legally required to give them an ID, especially if they're conducting a criminal investigation. If they believe a crime has been committed, they have probable cause, right? If they have the probable cause and are conducting an investigation and they ask you for a valid form of identification, you are legally required to give them that. A lot of people also don't seem to realize that you need a driver's license to drive in all 50 states. Driving is a privilege, not a right. So, when pulled over, if the officer asks for a valid driver's license, you are legally required by state law in all 50 states, as well as federal law, to provide that to them. Know your rights, but also know your laws. Do some actual research and not just skim over some articles on some bogus law website. Go to the actual state websites and look at the actual state case laws. That's all for now. I hope you guys are having a good day. Lethal out.